Hi, I'm Erin Palmer, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator. Joining me is the Empress of Pride, Rayceen Pendarvis.
Bam! Greetings and salutations, all.
Joining us is Kelley Robinson, President of the Human Rights Campaign. Hi, Kelley.
Hey, y'all. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Before we talk about your work with HRC, please tell our viewers a little bit about your background and who you are.
Absolutely. Well, my name's Kelley Robinson. I use she, her pronouns. I am proud to serve as president of the Human Rights Campaign. So I've been in this role for almost a year, and I came to HRC from Planned Parenthood Action Fund, where I was a leader in the fight to protect reproductive rights and abortion access in this country. And I can tell you, the fights in front of us are urgent, and I'm so proud to be in and a part of the community that's fighting back, not just against LGBTQ plus attacks, but against all of the attacks that are impacting our people.
As we near the 1-year anniversary of your time at the Human Rights Campaign, what are some of the lessons you've learned in that time?
Man, let me tell you. So the first day, my first day on the job was the day of the Club Q shooting. So to start in this position, in this role, at a time where it felt like progress was inevitable, and be slapped with that as the first thing was shocking. And then about a few days later, I came back to DC and the Respect for Marriage Act was passed into law. And I was actually sitting next to the owner of Club Q. And he told me, and that moment was the first time since the shooting that he had experienced joy. And for me, I think that this is my biggest lesson from this first year, is that there is a push and pull of progress, that we've got to be able to hold grief and joy in the same time, in the same moment, in the same breath, and still keep fighting for. The other big thing I've learned is that intersectionality, it is not a theory by Kimberly Crenshaw. It is a way of life. It is the only way for us to get free, is to get free together. And if we don't figure it out, you best believe that Ron DeSantis and all of them are weaponizing intersectionality right in front of us. So I think at this 1-year mark, I'm really kind of holding the duality of experience that we have, that things are hard right now, and still we're fighting to protect our joy. And, the acknowledgement that the only way for us to move forward, especially in the LGBTQ plus movement, is to be intersectional, not just in the words that we say, but in every action that we take.
Those are very important lessons. Thank you for sharing that. Kelley, you've been with HRC for about a year. What accomplishments are you most proud of since you've been with HRC?
Absolutely. And I got to say again, these are hard times that our people find ourselves within, right? I think a lot of folks, when you look at the record of the Biden-Harris administration, you can say, and it's true, that they've been the most pro-LGBTQ plus administration ever, advancing rules and regulations to protect our people. And it's still true that O'Shea Sibley was murdered in New York, right? And it's still true that Lori Carlton, an ally, was murdered in California. So I think that, I'm really kind of holding the fact that HRC has had some amazing accomplishments this year, and still we have to do more just to protect the lives of our people. This year we had over 600 anti-LGBTQ plus pieces of legislation move all across the country, and we defeated more than 90% of them. But that still meant that 80 bad bills were signed into law that have a devastating impact on our people. So I'm really proud of the work that we've done on the legislative front. I'm really proud that we've elected some champions up and down the ballot. I mean, you have folks we supported like Andrea Jenkins in Minnesota, the first Black trans person elected in United States history, to just this week, right, when you see LaFonza Butler, the first Black lesbian United States senator who's going to be in that chamber at a time when there's not a single Black woman sitting there yet. We have had some historic accomplishments, and I think that what HRC has really done is start to build the base and the groundwork that we need to fuel this movement moving ahead. And for me, I'm a grassroots community organizer all day, every day. So the thing I'm most proud about is how we're building people power with and for communities, really centering trans lives and folks of color as we're building the kind of movement that we need to get to the other side of this battle.
And that's so important. And I thank you once again. What do you most want to accomplish as the president of Human Rights Campaign?
I want to get free. Okay, I'm just going to say it like that. I want to be able to be as Black and as queer and as joyful as I want everywhere I can, you know, from the workplace to schools, to the places that we heal, to the places that we learn. And I know that's a big, broad vision, right, of where I want to go, but I want to have that front of mind every day. I've been saying that, you know, our job at the Human Rights Campaign is to fight for freedom and liberation for every lesbian, gay, bi, trans, and queer person without exception. And I mean that. And I think that we're making progress, but I think it's really going to take making sure that we change the dynamics of power in this country first and foremost. You know, right now there are 62 million equality voters, people that judge who they're going to vote for based on how well they're standing up for LGBTQ plus rights. We got to get those people registered. We got to get those people turning out. And when we do that, we can change the nature of power in this country. And I want HRC to be a part of that.
I really appreciate you mentioning joy, because we talk a lot about fight for rights and advocacy, and part of that is tied to the ability to experience joy. So thank you for that. I'm also wondering what you would want our viewers to know about your colleagues at HRC and how people can support and get involved with the work of the organization.
Absolutely. Look, I am joined by just an incredible group of change makers here at the Human Rights Campaign. And one of the things that I love about this organization, is that we're thinking about how do we make change in every place that queer people, that LGBTQ plus people live and breathe across this country and across this world. So we've got amazing programs that are about making schools more welcoming, even in states that don't want the laws to reflect that, right? We've got amazing programs like our Corporate Equality Index that's been around for over 20 years, making sure that corporations do right by their workers. We've got programs that are about HIV and health equity, making sure that we're centering Black and Brown lives as we work to end that epidemic now in our generation. So I'm inspired by the people I get to work with every day, because they are nothing short of visionaries in this work. And they're committed to not only getting us more free, but ensuring that the process by which we get there solidifies the fabric of our community to be strong for whatever fights are ahead. And I'm so proud of that.
Thank you.
And that's just simply amazing, the work that you do. I mean, you can't echo it enough. You know, you stepped in from day one, and you have just continued and continued and continued. And I thank you so much for that. As many people know, I think voter registration and participation is very important. What is your message for voters and for future voters as we enter the primary season and the new election cycle?
Absolutely. And first, I have to say that compliment means so much coming from you, the movement OG here. Okay. So I'm just honored to be able to be in community with you. I'm really appreciative of the groundwork you've laid to make my work and our work possible. And yes, voting matters. And look, I came up in the Barack Obama years, right, where it was like hope, change, you know, it felt good being out there in those streets. You were inspired every day. And I understand that for a lot of folks, politics right now may not feel that way. But what we need to understand is that the urgency and the imperative is still the same. Every vote is the most important vote of our lifetimes when your literal liberties are on the line, right? And this year is no exception. Some of us have elections you need to be participating in this year, in 2023. All of us will have elections in 2024. But we need to make sure that we're showing up and showing out, because the choice this year is so clear. You're choosing between people that want to advance our rights and protections, and then others that want to actually drag us back, not 10 years, not 5 years, but 400 years. You're choosing between people who want to protect our democracy and others that are willing to shut down the government and buy Supreme Court justices and do whatever else they can to dismantle it. So this is a moment when we have to show up. We have to be clear about what's at stake, and we have to let that be our energy that motivates us to bring everybody out. Because now, look, Miss Beyonce, Miss Carter has been saying it. We got to get information.
Kelley, speaking of elections, are there any local or national elections that you're paying specific attention to? Anything we should be keeping our eyes on?
Absolutely. Well, I know everybody's going to be looking towards 2024 and the presidential and the Senate and the House. That is critically important to do everything that we can to protect and expand pro-equality majorities at the federal level. But I also want to make sure that people are looking locally, right? There are places like Virginia and Kentucky and Mississippi that have such important races this year that are going to tell us and give us a really sense of what to expect in 2024. We already see our opposition launching anti-trans attacks, trying to divide the Black community, trying to divide brown communities, all to gain power, not to help people or families. So we got to be aware. And I also want to encourage folks to be looking at your city council races. I'm really excited about folks, like I said earlier, Andrea Jenkins, who's up in Minneapolis. She's a champion. I want you to be looking at your school board races. You got folks out there, they're trying to run for school board only for the interest of disrupting our kids' ability to learn about us and our lives. We got to show up and down the ballot. And I also want to encourage you that if you got a voice, think about running. This is a time where you should think about running for office because your community needs you.
Well, we always appreciate the plea and interest in voting, paying attention to our local races, including our school board. And if you think DC is immune from those types of attacks, it's not. And it's absolutely worth paying attention. So thank you for that reminder. Kelley, our viewers would like to know how to stay up to date with what you and HRC are doing. Please tell us how they can follow your work and get involved.
Absolutely. You can find us at hrc.org. We have got a ton of resources and programs to connect you with. And if you're on the socials, you can find us at Human Rights Campaign or HRC on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. And also you can follow me. I'm Kelley J. Robinson. That's Kelley with an EY. I'm on all the social media platforms. And look, I really do want to make sure that we're building our community. So please follow us. Please engage with us. We need you and your voice.
Viewers, please look in the description below for links. And Kelley, thank you so much for joining us and for all of the work that you do. It's very important.
Thank you.
Thank you. To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media and subscribe to the Team Rayceen YouTube channel. Rayceen, anything you'd like to say to our viewers?
Thank you for watching.